It breeds that thing in us that says, well, wait a minute, I want to have a relationship with Jesus. I don't want to just follow the rules. So to the Mr. Rooneys of the world, Jesus told this story. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, "Father, give me my share of the estate." So he divided his property between them. And not long after that, the younger son got together all he had and set off for a distant country and squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of the country who sent him to feed the pigs. Remember, he's a Jew, so this is the worst that could happen. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him and ran to him and threw his arms around him and kissed him. And the son said, 'Here's my speech, Dad. I've sinned against heaven and you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to the servants, 'Quick, put on the best robe and put it on his feet and on him, and put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet, and bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead, and now he is alive again. He was lost, and now he's found.' And so they began to celebrate." This is a story that Jesus told to the Mr. Rooneys of the day who were complaining about the fact that he was hanging out with the dweebies and the sportos and the motorheads. Do you understand that? This is the story that he's saying, look, you guys, yeah, I take a day off with Ferris every once in a while, and Cameron. Yeah, I do. I go hang out with those people. Not in sin. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I go hang out because I want to be a friend to them, and I want to welcome them, okay? And Jesus says, this is how it is, you guys. You need to understand this, Mr. Rooney. If the dweebies run away and they want to come back, God's going to welcome them home. Whether you do or not, God's going to welcome them home. And that's why I welcome them, and that's why my church should welcome them. But that's not really the point of the story. I love that part of the story. We all do, because we've all been prodigals at some point, one way or the other. But in order to further illustrate what the story really is about, Jesus goes on. Meanwhile, the older brother was in the field. The older son was in the field. And when he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. And so he called one of the servants, and he asked him what was going on. I'm expecting the servant to be excited. Your brother's come home, and your father's killed a fatted calf because he has him back safe and sound. But Mr. Rooney became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him, and he answered his father, "Look, all these years I've been slaving for you, never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. This son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home. You killed a fatted calf for him."